Moving on to 46. What? DR Congo? No way. Moving on to 11th. I'm out. The 2026 World Cup is only 2 months away, and with that being said, in today's video, we are going to be reacting to arguably the worst power rankings I've seen so far. Now, obviously, with this World Cup, we're seeing a lot of different websites, a lot of different companies do power rankings for these teams. They're ranking them from the bottom, from 48th place, all the way to the best team. Now, a lot of these look pretty horrible, but in today's video, we're going to be reacting to one that newly released, and it is from CBS Sports. Now, CBS Sports are a very popular sports broadcasting company. They do a lot of stuff for football, and their ranking is completely horrible. But let's get right into this ranking. So we're going to be starting off in 48th, and in 48th we have Curaçao. Curaçao probably, realistically, are definitely the worst team. I do agree with Curaçao being in 48th place. Moving on to 47th, we have New Zealand. Now, New Zealand, I have seen some different websites put them higher up on the ranking. For me, I think 47th is fair. I don't think New Zealand are the best team. I think 47th is probably fair. Moving on to 46. What? DR Congo? Yo. Nah. They are tripping with this one. Guys, DR Congo in 46th place is crazy. There is no way that DR Congo are ranked 46th place, the third worst team in the World Cup. Have you seen them in previous AFCONs? They're incredible. Yes, they maybe didn't get it as far in the most recent AFCON compared to the AFCON before, right? I think expectations were a little bit higher than losing out to Algeria. But DR Congo are a stacked team. They have the attackers, they have the midfielders, they have the defenders. We see a lot of players that were maybe born in another country, maybe born in Belgium, maybe born in England, choose to represent DR Congo because that is their ethnicity, that is their background. And we're seeing a lot of players choose to now represent DR Congo. And for that reason, I think DR Congo are a really, really good team. This is way too low. This is horrible. DR Congo, I could see in the 30s. 46 is mad. 46 is just absolutely mad. Let's move on to 45th. 45th, we have Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan, I feel like this is a fair ranking. This is the first time that they are going to be in the World Cup. Obviously, they're being managed by Cannavaro. Now, we have seen them perform pretty good in the qualifiers in certain friendly games, but I feel like expectations for Uzbekistan are fairly low. So 45th, I'm not mad at that. Let's move on to 44th. We got Cabo Verde. Cabo Verde, they have some decent players. They have a few decent attackers. They could maybe upset a few teams, but I think 44th is fair enough. Moving on to 43rd, we have Panama. Not too mad at that. Panama, all right team, but definitely shouldn't really be higher than the 40s. Moving on to 42, we have Haiti. Haiti, their second time qualifying for the World Cup since 1974. They're an okay team. I don't think they should be lower than this, but similar to Panama, I don't think they should be higher than the 40s. Moving on to 41st, we have Iraq. This is a tough one. Now, Iraq are a decent team. They haven't qualified for the World Cup in 40 years. And they could be a little bit higher, but I'm not too mad at that. For me, just the main thing I really have an issue with is DR Congo. Because how are you going to put DR Congo in 46th place? Is crazy. That's crazy. Guys, DR Congo cannot be in 46th place. But let's go back up to 40th place, South Africa. It says here that they've moved South Africa down a few points. And I can understand this due to the fact that South Africa in the AFCON, they showed amazing things on the attack. They have players like Foster. They have some good attackers, but defensively, South Africa do struggle. They really, really struggled. In the AFCON, they were horrible defensively. So for that reason, I don't think 40th place is the worst positioning for South Africa. And moving on to 39th place, we have Jordan. Jordan's an interesting one because Jordan can actually score goals. Guys, if you haven't seen Jordan, they can score goals. I'm telling you, they can score goals. They're in the same group as Algeria, Austria, and Argentina, but they can score goals. So I wouldn't rule out Jordan. 39th is a fair ranking. Maybe they could be a tiny bit higher, but it's not too bad. Moving on to 38th, Algeria. Nah. I don't think Algeria can be down to 38th place. You're telling me that Algeria are in the top 10 worst teams of the 2026 AFCON? No way. You must be smoking some crazy strong shit, because there's no way Algeria are a top 10 worst country in this World Cup. Did they do good in previous AFCONs? No. You look at the 2023 AFCON, they were shocking. They were horrible. But this AFCON, they weren't too bad. They made it fairly far. In recent friendlies, they've been performing pretty good. We saw them score 7 goals against Rwanda, I think it was. 7 goals. It doesn't matter what the opposition is. 7 goals is hard to do no matter what. Players like Mahrez, Maza, Guiri, all scoring in that game. Algeria, I will say, struggles sometimes defensively, but they have the players to hold possession. They have the attackers. They have some very good attackers, some great youngsters, even players like Amoura. Yes, he didn't score in the AFCON, which was disappointing, but he's still a good attacker. No way Algeria are 38th place. This is a disgrace. Moving on to 37th, we have Australia. Australia, I think 37th is a fair ranking for Australia, because I don't think Australia have that good of a team. But for some reason, in international competitions, in the World Cup, they always seem to overperform. If you remember the last World Cup, they made it to the round of 16, which they lost against the eventual winners, Argentina. But to get to that point, they were very, very good. They always play with passion. And yes, maybe they won't score a lot of goals and they are a more defensive team, but they can get smash and grabs. They can beat you by 1 goal and they can get results. So 37th, I feel like, is fair for Australia. Although, like I mentioned, they are a team that can perform much better than where their ranking is. Moving on to 36, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Guys, Bosnia eliminated Italy in the playoffs. They eliminated us. We got eliminated to Bosnia. And are Bosnia a good team? They are a good team. They have some decent players. They have Edin Dzeko still leading the line. They have Demirovic in the attack. In the defensive end, they have Muharemovic, who has been very, very good this season with Sassuolo. So they do have a few good players. Are they going to get further than the round of 16? Or are they going to get to the round of 16? In my opinion, it looks pretty unlikely. I think they can get out of the group. They're in the same group with Canada, Qatar, and Switzerland. But I'm not sure how. But speaking of Qatar, where's Qatar? I haven't even seen Qatar yet. You're telling me Qatar is better guys, I don't know where Qatar is on this list, but I would take any of these teams beating Qatar. I would take Iraq, South Africa, Jordan, Algeria, Australia, and Bosnia to all beat Qatar. I don't know where Qatar is. Let's move on to 35th. Ghana in 35th. This, I think, is a fair ranking. Although, no, this is not a fair ranking. Actually, you know what? This is a horrible ranking. How are Ghana in 35th? You're telling me Ghana are in 35th, and you have Algeria 38th, and DR Congo in 46th. Guys, you don't realize Ghana didn't even make it to the 2025 AFCON. They weren't in it. They didn't make it. So how are you going to put Ghana ahead of teams like Algeria, teams like DR Congo, who made it at least to the knockout stages in the last AFCON? This does not make sense. This makes absolutely no sense. Let's move up to 34th. Paraguay. This is, I think, a little bit of a low ranking for Paraguay. Paraguay are a strong team. And in my World Cup ranking video before the last international break, I think I underestimated Paraguay. I didn't rank them as high as I think I should have. And I feel like CBS Sports are doing the same. Paraguay are a decent team. For me, probably a top 30 team. I think around 30th would be more of a fair ranking. Moving on to 33rd. Nah, there's no way. There is absolutely no way. Qatar in 33rd place. Qatar in 33rd. Qatar. This is horrible. This is really bad. 33rd place for Qatar. You're telling me you're ranking Qatar ahead of Paraguay, ahead of Ghana, ahead of Bosnia, ahead of Australia, ahead of Algeria, ahead of DR Congo. Guys, if DR Congo play Qatar tomorrow, DR Congo would win 3-0. If Paraguay played against Qatar, Paraguay would win 2-0. I I think Qatar may be one of the worst teams in this World Cup. I could see Qatar, they're in the same group as Canada, Switzerland, and Bosnia. I could see them finishing last place with 0 points. Sure, they have Akram Afif. Nice. That's great. This is screwed up. 33rd place. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. 32nd place, Côte d'Ivoire. This is low for Côte d'Ivoire. A little bit low in my opinion. Côte d'Ivoire in the qualifiers, we saw them be a very defensive team. But in the AFCON, in previous friendlies, they were very good offensively. They showed us some great strengths offensively. They have some great youngsters. I always mention the likes of Amad Diallo and Yan Diomande because I think their wingers are some of the strongest wingers in this World Cup. 32? Nah. For me, I would put Côte d'Ivoire closer to 27, 26. They're definitely in the 20s. 32 is way, way too low. Moving on to 31st place, we have Tunisia. For me, this may be a little bit high for Tunisia. I've personally been disappointed with Tunisia over the last year. I think in the AFCON, they were a little bit disappointing. In recent friendlies, they also were a little bit disappointing. Yes, they can hold possession, but they really, really struggle to do anything offensively. Moving into 30th, Saudi Arabia. Yeah, this is too high for Saudi Arabia. Do I think they're in the bottom 5? No, they're not that low, right? But they're not 30th, guys. Guys, we're talking about Saudi Arabia in 30th place, ahead of Congo, ahead of Algeria. Nah, this is way too high for Saudi Arabia in my opinion. Moving on to 29th, Czech Republic. This is a fair ranking. I think it seems a little bit high for Czech Republic. I don't think they're in the top 30. I will put them in the 30s. I don't think they're in the top 30, but I could see it. I can see it. This I'm not too mad at. 28th, we have no way. No way. No way. There is no way. Guys, this is crazy. Colombia in 28th place. This is crazy, guys. There is no way Colombia are that low. Is this the lowest South American team? No way. Colombia should be 100% in the top 20. On 1,000,000%. Yes, they had a poor international break. They lost against Croatia and they got smoked by France's B team. First of all, that's against France, who are one of the best teams in the world. And against Croatia, they were just poor in the attack. Luis Suarez didn't finish his chances. Luis Diaz, John Arias, they didn't finish their chances. To put Colombia in 28th place after finishing 3rd in the qualifiers, after showing us over the last 3 years that they are one of the best South American teams. Guys, this is crazy. Colombia are definitely a top 20, maybe even a top 15 team. 28th place is insane. 27th place, we have Scotland. Okay, this is fair. Not compared to Colombia. Scotland are 100% a worst. If Colombia come up against Scotland right now, who do you think is going to win? I would say maybe a 3-1 win to Colombia. So Scotland, maybe I'll bring them down to the low 30s, 32, 33. Colombia, I would bring up to the top 20s, to the maybe around 15. That's where I think Colombia deserve to be. Moving on to 27th. Yo. Yo. Nah, man. Guys, South Korea in 26th place. Did you see what just happened to South Korea in the international break? They lost both games in a row. South Korea got smoked 4-0 against Ivory Coast. Guys, this Korean team is not the same South Korea that we're used to. I'm telling you guys this. They're not a bad team, but they're nowhere near the South Korea that we're used to. I don't think South Korea deserves to be in the top 30. Let's move on to 25. 25 is Egypt. Before this last international friendly, I would put Egypt lower than 25. I would put Egypt in the high in the low 30s, around like 31, 32, 33. After this international break, I can kind of see it. They got a great draw against Spain. They got another great result. They got 2 good results in this international break. So I think Egypt being at 25 isn't too bad. I would maybe have them more around 27, 28 in the higher 20s, sorry. But 25 is not bad. This is not bad. Let's move on to 24. 24, we got Austria in 24. I think it's a little bit low for Austria, especially with what we saw from Austria this international break. They got some very, very good wins. We saw them win 1-0 against South Korea, and they also smoked Ghana, right? I think they scored, 4 or 5 goals against them. Gregoritsch, Sabitzer, incredible game from them. I think this is a fair ranking for Austria. If not, maybe even a little bit low. I think I'd put Austria more around 20th or 21st. I think 24 may be a little bit low for Austria. But moving on to 23rd. Guys, I'm from Canada. But come on. Guys, Canada is not 23rd. Let's be 100% honest here. Canada is not 23rd. You think Canada is better than Austria? Guys, if Canada versus Austria tomorrow, Austria will win this game at least by a few goals. Canada is no better than Austria. They're no better than Colombia. Okay, you're going to put Canada ahead of Colombia. Canada ahead of Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. Nah. Guys, Canada is way too high. Coming from a Canadian, Canada is way too high. Personally, I would put Canada closer to 30th. 23 is insane. Are you being nice because we're the host? Maybe. But Canada is way too high. Moving on to 22nd, we have Iran. I'm not too mad at that. Maybe a little bit high. Maybe I would put them a little bit lower, closer to the mid-20s, around 25. But that's not too bad. In 21, we have Ecuador. Guys, this is low. This is way too low. They're underestimating these South American teams. You think Colombia and teams like Ecuador are worse than the US? We haven't even seen the US. I don't know where they're ranked, but there's no way that Colombia and Ecuador are lower than the US. Top 15. Top 15, 1,000,000%. Moving on to 20th place. We're about to get into the top 20. In 20th place, we got... Oh, no. Sweden. In 20th place. The team who didn't even qualify through the qualifiers. The team who had to get basically babied and pushed into the playoffs due to how they performed in the Nations League. The team that got 0 wins in the qualifiers, that scammed their way to this World Cup. No disrespect to Sweden. I love Swedish people. But honestly, they don't even deserve to be in this World Cup. It's simple as that. They don't deserve it. To put them in 20th place, ahead of Ecuador, ahead of Colombia, that's disgraceful. 19th place, Switzerland. This is a little bit low to me. Switzerland should be higher than this. Switzerland, I think, are another team that are around 14th, 15th, 13th place. This is way too low. Switzerland are a fantastic team. Definitely, they will finish first in their group. Even if Italy made it to the World Cup, I would still take Switzerland over Italy. Switzerland deserves to be in the top 15, 100%. 18th, Mexico. This, I think, is a fair ranking. I think Mexico are between 15 to 20. I think they have a decent team. In their most recent international break, I thought they were very, very good. I thought they got 2 great results against 2 European powerhouses in Belgium and also in Portugal. So Mexico, maybe before this international break, I would have had them a bit lower. But I think 18th is just about right. 17th. Nah, Croatia are much better than 17th. Croatia are much, much better than 17th. We got the team who made it to a World Cup final and the year after a World Cup semifinal. This Croatian team is much better than what people think. Everyone always talks about them being an Asian team, and no one sees the young talent that's coming out of Croatia. Croatia has so much young talent, and for such a small country, in terms of their size, they're probably one of the best in the world. In terms of everything taken into account, they're still 100% a top 15 team. Maybe even top 12. Croatia are a very strong team. Very, very strong team. Who's 16th? Senegal. How are Senegal in 16th place? The AFCON winners. No. No one come at me. And Morocco did not win the AFCON. Senegal won the AFCON. Senegal are the best team in Africa. 16th place is far too low. I would put Senegal at least in the top 13. At least in the top 13. For me, above Morocco. I think Senegal are a better team than Morocco. Morocco are a great team as well, but it seems like Morocco are higher than Senegal on this list, as we haven't seen Morocco. I personally would have Senegal higher than Morocco. That's just my opinion. 15th, Japan. Okay, we're now into the top 15. Maybe even a little bit low for Japan. I maybe would put Japan also around like 13th. I think Japan were really, really good in this international break. They got a great win against Scotland, a great win against England, which I think this is the first Asian team to ever beat England in England at Wembley. So congratulations to Japan. They have a very, very good team. Very strong team. Ueda in the attack, he's scoring goals for fun. They still have players like Don. Obviously, they have a few injuries, which might hurt them a little bit in the World Cup. But even with players like Kamada in the midfield, he was very good in the international break. Japan are a really strong team. Moving on to 14th, we have Turkey. This is a fair ranking for Turkey. This is a fair ranking. One thing that's still pissing me off is we still have not seen the US. In my opinion, Turkey, Japan, Senegal, Croatia would all beat the US. Switzerland, Colombia, Ecuador would all beat the US. So I don't know what's going on, but we still haven't seen the US. They better not be much higher. 13th, we have Uruguay. This is crazy. This is crazy. How on earth is Uruguay in 13th place? Guys, under Bielsa, they have not been good. They do not play good football. They got smoked 5-1 from the US. Moving on to 12th, okay. Where's USA? Where is USA? Guys, we just saw Belgium in the international break smoke USA 5-2. 5-2. And they put Belgium in 12th, and USA is higher than Belgium. Make it make sense. Moving on to 11th. I'm done. I'm literally done. I'm out. How is this possible? How are USA in 11th place in the world, ahead of the likes of Belgium, who just beat them 5-2, ahead of Turkey, ahead of Japan, ahead of Senegal, ahead of Croatia, ahead of Ecuador, ahead of Austria, ahead of Colombia? Guys, I've heard about some other really bad power rankings, and if you want me to react to more power rankings, let me know. But this cannot run. That's the worst ranking on this list so far. 10th, we have Morocco. So Morocco are a good team. They're very good defensively. They have some great attackers. They have some really good young talent. That is the best part about Moroccan's team, is the young talent. For me, one of my favorite players is El Ainaoui. Great player with Roma. He's a fantastic player in that midfield. But will I have Morocco 6 places above Senegal? I think that's a bit much. For me, Morocco and Senegal are very, very even. I would put them around similar positions. I think it may be a little bit higher for Morocco. Maybe around 12th or 13th would be better for me. 9th, we have the Netherlands. The Netherlands showed some good performances in this international break. They got a draw against Ecuador, which, to be fair, wasn't the best result. But then they got that win against Norway, which was a pretty good game. So they're in 9th place. I can't disagree with this. In 8th place, we have Germany. Once again, I don't have too many complaints. Definitely 2 top 10 teams. Whether they're, I would say, between 6 to 10, I'm fine with both of them. Moving on to 7th, Norway. Okay, guys, I have a confession to make. I know that I've put so much hype on Norway, but 7th place is too high. 7th place is too high for Norway. I know I've been putting so much hype on them. I love Norway. I want Norway to make it to the quarterfinals. But Norway are not better than Germany. We just saw them lose against Netherlands. Yes, they had a rotated squad, but we just saw them lose against Netherlands. But with that being said, we still saw some struggles of this Norway team. So 7th, that's too high. That's too high. Just outside the top 10 for me. 6 is Portugal. This is fair. I think anywhere from 4 to 6 is fair for Portugal. Before this international break, I maybe would have had them a little bit higher. But I think in that game against Mexico, they were very poor. They had like 1 or maybe 2 shots on target the whole game. So with that being said, I think 6 is fair for Portugal. 5th, England. Wow, this is a controversial take. But for me, I actually agree with this. I don't think England are in the top 3. And I don't know if they're in the top 4. I think 5th, for me, is perfect for England. Because when I look at their squad, I don't think they have the best all-around team. I think they have a great attack with Harry Kane, with Rashford. But then you look at a player like Saka, he's not having the best season. Then in the midfield, I have a great midfielder in Declan Rice. But then some other midfielders, players like Foden, players like Palmer, haven't been having good seasons. Defensively is going to be possibly a struggle for England. We've seen O'Reilly have a great season, but with the England shirt, he doesn't always perform. Obviously, Guehi has been having a good season, but once again, in England, in the international break, he was poor. In that draw against Uruguay and that loss, obviously, against Japan. Ben White, we saw him score a goal, but we also saw him concede a penalty. So England are a team who have star players, but I don't know if they work the best together. I'm not sure if Tuchel is fully the right manager for England. And for that reason, I don't think they deserve to be higher than 5th place. Moving on to 4th place, we have Brazil. This is expected. Brazil are a very strong team. Did lose in the recent international break to France. But in the second half, after France got the red card, to be fair, Brazil were very good. And at the same time, France, in my opinion, have arguably the best team in the world. So I think Brazil in 4th place is fair. 3rd place, France. Wow. France in 3rd place. For me, I think France is top 2. I think France is top 2. Let's look at the top 2 since we're here. Argentina 2nd, Spain 1st. I think France is top 2. I think France is top 2. I would put me personally, I would put Argentina in 3rd. And between France and Spain, it's really, really close. France might between Spain and France, it's so close. I think maybe Spain might just edge it over France. But for me, France is top 2. Top 2, 100%. Argentina, I would put in 3rd place. But that is the end of this CBS Sports power ranking for the 2026 World Cup. Guys, this was ass. This was horrible. We saw so many teams out of position. For me, the biggest disrespect was for some of the South American teams. Colombia, Ecuador, even a team like Paraguay. Some of these teams got completely, blatantly disrespected. They're putting South Korea ahead of Colombia. They're putting Uruguay in the top 15 when they've been horrible over the last year. They put USA ahead of Belgium when Belgium just beat them and scored 5 goals. Guys, I think we need new workers at CBS Sports. But that's the end of this video. I tried not to make it too long. I know it's going to be like around half an hour, but I try not to make it too long. If you guys want to see me react to other World Cup power ranking, I just saw that The Guardian made one. I heard a lot of people complaining about The Athletic World Cup power ranking. So if you want to see more World Cup power rankings, let me know in the comments down below. And obviously, if you enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe to the channel, as I'm almost at 8,000 subscribers. And if you've been enjoying Champions League content, Europa League, World Cup content, remember to subscribe to the channel. And as always, if you did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos.